Greetings and salutations, and welcome back to the Fool's Errand. Let's see, when last we played, we experienced a variety of disconnected scenarios from a larger story and played through a number of puzzles. One that we didn't quite finish off, but many that we did. So, I am planning on, well, for one thing, finishing off that card game puzzle, that iteration of it. I think we'll see it again during the game. And of course I intend to go forward with further puzzles. And depending on just which puzzles we reach, there might actually be a programming segment to this game, to this stream. There is no programming puzzle in the game, so if you're wondering just why there would be a programming segment, well, you'll just have to watch and find out. So, once again, let me tweet out that I'm live. Right. And then once again, we go through what I'm guessing was copy protection. Yeah, let's go hearts, feeling romantic. The Fool's Errand. There we go. Now we want to. Forgetting how these menus work. These are old Mac menus, if I'm not much mistaken. Anyway, I want to load our game. There we go. Right. So the cathedral. Let's see if we've done. We haven't done this puzzle yet. This looks like a nice warm-up puzzle. Let's start with that. Excuse me. And I do apologize if I do cough a bit. I think I just have, something minor, I think. Anyway, so this looks like something fun and simple to start off with. So, let's see. Once again, this is one of those puzzles in which you just swap tiles to construct a picture. So, yeah, once again, something nice and simple to start off with. Oh, and these two are in the right place already by the looks of it. That's handy. Let's see. Well, we can see that these letters are going to go together somehow. That looks like it probably goes there, and I don't know about that. That might go there. These are going to have to move at some point, I imagine. No, that's not right at all. Nope. Oh wait, of course, Cillian. There we go. In fact, it looks like these are going to be wider than that. We're probably going to have to move these once we're done, but that's okay. We actually want to move them further yet, but that's okay. We have them in. So we have them all together now, so that should make life a little easier later. We can just keep shunting them around when we have to. Right. This is a mere puzzle, so it would seem. Let's see. Okay, so it looks like our fool is on the left. This guy, I have a suspicion, might be near the top. That looks like it might be his hand. Yes. So what might be to the left of him, I wonder? Maybe the letters are at the top? It's a possibility. This guy looks like he's looking up. Okay, I'm going to put the letters at the top for the moment. It's a good enough guess for now, and it'll keep them largely out of the way, I suspect. But I also suspect that it's probably wrong. But what we can do now is we can work on this section relatively unhindered. Let's see. I don't think it's that one. Where is this fellow's body is what I want to know. That looks like it. No, that's not right at all. Should see something of the bottom of his arm there, or yes, that looks like it. And then we want something that shows his back. Hopefully nothing has gotten his back up. Oops, it's not where I meant to click. But that is correct. That is correct. I don't think so. Unless No, that doesn't look right at all. Let's see. His legs look like they're going to be in there somewhere. We have. It's not that, I'm pretty confident. No. No. Oh wait, maybe one of these? No, that's not right at all. That looks almost like someone's holding that. Let's see. Oh, I hadn't noticed that before. This actually has a bit of the scroll work on it. I wonder. Let me try something. We'll put this down here. Does it become centered? I haven't checked exactly how many there are. Yeah, that makes it centered, which seems likely. Despite the fact that it doesn't look like a candle at all. There we go. So then we just want one to fill in. Let's see. This maybe. Yes. Okay. Now we're getting somewhere. And let's see. That maybe. Yes. Yeah. See, there's a bit of his arm there, I think. And I think that. Yes. Okay. Good progress. Good progress, I feel. Yeah, that's the top of that. So we don't have any great information about what's going on just above. We do have something going on here. I wonder whether maybe this is further down. Oh, you know what? That looks like part of a hat to me. Maybe. Not sure about that one. It works. It works. And it seems we have a black bar here. And that looks like it might continue now. Oh, there we are. Oh, hey, it's that one with it's that meme with the cat. Now we just need to build a cat on this side, I think. No? Oh. No. I am not. Oh, well, whatever goes here should continue this, not so. So, yes. But then, okay, so he doesn't actually follow? That doesn't make much sense to me. Because that doesn't fit what we're seeing below there. So maybe it's this one. There we go. That makes more sense. Maybe this one? Yes. Aha. Once again, now I believe we are getting somewhere. I wonder whether this isn't at the top. I think indeed it might be. So if we move these up like so. Oh, hey, that actually, is that right? Not sure about that. No. Oops. I don't think that's going to work anywhere. I want something with... No, not that much black on the left. Something with a little bit of black on the left that fits with this. Yeah, I didn't think so. Alright, well, let's work on this side. We know that this is a black bar. We know there's going to be some blue here. In fact, I'm guessing that... See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6... 6, 7. Is that right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7 dark blue ones. That's a curious number. I would have expected it to be an even number, so I have a suspicion it would fill up these, but maybe not. Alright, well, let's see what we have. Yeah, okay, so that's going to do, whoops, something like that. And no. Hold on. Hold on. Okay. So I'm going to have to move all of this up to the... this is going to take some work. Okay. There's possibly a more efficient way of doing this, but this is the easy and obvious way of doing it. And should work, I do believe. Just want to sort of treadmill this section up, thus forcing the other sections down, like so. Voila. Further. One more layer, sorry. Thought something looked off. Okay. Now I'm thinking maybe these guys further down. We have something like... no, wait, hold on. No, this definitely connects to that, but this doesn't look like it connects. Ah, yes. Not quite sure what goes there right now. This clearly does go here, I believe. And that'll go there. So then that there? No? This one, I think. Yes. And I see this is blue, so the blue comes in there. I wonder. Okay. There should be something else with the foot. The foot of that ladder. There we go. Okay, so we have a layer of blue. Oh, I wonder. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, got it. So these, let's just move that over there for now. These do in fact belong up here, I believe. These do in fact belong up here because in fact there is a layer of blue at the bottom. The only question is which bits go where. Yes, there's his feet. And let's see. That one, no, I think that possibly belongs there. No, that's not right at all. Why does it look like he has his knees, or like he's walking digitigrade, like a fox or a cat or some such? I think foxes I'm pretty sure walk digitigrade. Anyway, that's a guess, but that's not a bad guess, I think. Yes. Is that not right? What am I getting wrong here? This looks right to me. Maybe, oops. Maybe there's a reason this, that looks a bit more like it. Yeah, that's right. That's clearly it. Hold on. You see that? But it doesn't follow there. That's clearly no good. Something's still wrong here, but I don't... Yeah, no, that doesn't fit. That must be like that. Oh, most curious. This all looks correct, except that that doesn't match up. That all makes sense there. This does seem sort of arbitrarily included there, but I don't see a way of fixing that. I'm most curious. Let me see. Does this? Yeah, that completes that. But this definitely fits with this. So I can only conclude that this is in the wrong place somehow. But how can that be? Oh, unless... No, that goes all the way to there. And that actually connects with that. That has to fit like that, as far as I see. Huh. I've made some error somewhere, but I don't, for the life of me, know what. Unless... yeah, I don't know about that. But let me try something. No, you see, that leads straight onto that. I was thinking maybe I have these two the wrong way around. But no, that doesn't work either. This occupies the full height of this. It's possible that it goes somewhere else, but I'm not sure how that might be. Plus this is nicely centered, which makes sense. I think I have it. I think I have it. What we actually have here is these two transposed. It's going to be a bit messy for a moment, but should come right in a bit. Et voila! Mere. Further down the road was a quaint chapel, and gathered in front were 3 craftsmen. Yes, that's it. MYR in red letters, right above the 3 pentacles, the tallest man instructed. The fool watched as one man climbed a ladder and began to carve the letters into the steeple. No, no, to the left more, the second man cried. No, no, to the right more, the third man protested. What's done is done, the first man pointed out. I cannot move an inscription like a piece of furniture. How true, the fool thought, as he turned to walk away. Let's see what puzzle we get here. Oh. To solve this puzzle, use the clues shown in the picture to find the correct letters and then enter these letters into the blank boxes. Okay. So we have a child begging for sweets, perhaps, or coins, maybe selling flowers. We have 3 letters using these. There's no E, so it's not beg. Well, what vowels do we have? We have U, we have O, we have A. Oh, you know what? I think it's a boy. B, O. Do we have Y? Do we have Y? Come on. We have Y. Okay, so let's try that. B, O, Y. No? Okay. It's not boy. It's not big. Mop, mot, mos, modge, mog. It's a cat. Mock, mod. Could be mad. Ma, mon, mo. More. Mom. Bob. Map doesn't seem likely. Nor more. Nor mag. Nor Mao. Nor Max. Nor Madge. Nor Mac. Nor Matt. Mad? Possibly, once you played this game for long enough. Man, perhaps. There's M, there's A, there's N. Oops, that's not N, that's... No? Coin... He's tempting to say beg, but there's no E. Bag? Those letters into the boxes. I'm not sure. I'm going to come back to this one, I think. Let's see what else we have lying around. What else have we opened up? The Page of Wands. I think I've read this one before. Yes, I have. What was this? Oh yes, we were trying to figure this one out. Find the hidden letters below and enter them into the blank boxes. Oh, hidden letters are there? I wonder whether it's something that I have to click on or hover over to reveal the letters, perhaps? Ah, cunning! You see that? That is a neat little puzzle. So to the east. There it is. I like that puzzle. I really do. The Knight of Wands. Just then, a great white horse galloped up to him, carrying a fully armoured knight. Quickly, have you seen a page come this way? Yes, he went to the south to seek the pyramids, the fool replied. The south? The knight puzzled. But the pyramids are to the east of us. See, the middle one is inscribed with the letter X in red. The fool saw that this was so. What was then the south? Let me start that again. What was then the south is now the east. I met him further back. That is good. The queen shall reward you, shouted the knight as he galloped away. And we're on to the Wheel of Fortune, sorry. Okay. Secret code, switch all the coded letters. Okay. Oh, that's quite easy then. So they've given us the key by the looks of it. So F's become S's, B's become A's, D's become U's, and presumably vice versa, yes. M's become N's, F's become E's. Okay, so that's... Okay, they haven't given us the whole thing. Unless the answer is Ze le vion que web a gewe conver betahes and les sifkunur ble gutavdse. I think ble is how we're feeling at that reading. Alright, so this Q is presumably not an A. It's not an E because that doesn't generally stand alone in English. Similarly, U could be I. O is technically possible but unlikely in modern English. So A, E, I, O, I think it's probably an I. That's in, okay, that looks right. And, oh, I think this is probably he was. Yeah, H isn't taken and W isn't taken, so that's fine. And he was... I'm guessing this is seeking. Seeking, this is probably the V. He was a vegan, that's it. I think probably he began... Something in something, and he was seeking the... Oh, this is... right, from our story, the pyramids. He was seeking the pyramids. Okay, he began... something he began. I met a page in my travels. Well, he began. I met a page in my travels, and he was seeking the pyramids. The Queen of Wands. On the way, he picked a bright yellow sunflower and presented it to the queen. "It is beautiful," she whispered, stroking its spreading petals. "Yet it will not bring back our most treasured possession. We did not want war, but when the sword stole our royal wand, we had no choice but to retaliate." "But I thought that the war was over," the fool pondered. "Surely your royal wand will be returned to you in due course." "I would like to believe your kind words," she murmured softly, "but I fear for the worst." I don't know why she's so worried about sausages. "We are a pleasant country folk, not warriors, and even as we speak, the other kingdoms betray our trust. If only my son, the page, would come home, my heart would be lightened." The fool considered this for a moment. "Well," he began, "I met a page in my travels, and he was seeking the pyramids. I told this to the knight who was searching for him." "Praise be," the queen cried out. "You have brought me much happiness. Please take this magic word, clack, in red, and may it bring you equal happiness." Eagerly, the fool wrote down the magic word and skipped out of the castle merrily. Let's see what puzzle we get here. To solve this puzzle, rearrange the letters to create 3 words that read horizontally and 3 words that read vertically. The center letter is already correct and cannot be moved. Okay, so C is here, is set. If we put that there, that there, that there, we have win and ice. Technically ace would work. Was works, win works, ace works. I think if we swap these, whoops. Excuse me. Yeah, I think that's probably right. C would work. C and win was. But that's not going to work, is it? New would work. If I put win back down here. No, that's not going to work. Yeah, win uses both the W and the N, so I can't have new. I can have saw and was. What would work with this, with the D? Nothing that connects to the center directly, because that's not going to, it's not going to go before or after a C, I dare say. Could be sad. Could be Ned, arguably, or wed. Wed would work. Could have wed and win. Ice. But that doesn't work. What else can you make with a C in the middle? We can have ice. I don't think scar quite works here. Ace would work. So we could theoretically have something like that. So we'd have ace and ice, theoretically. Den. Sad. Yeah, but that doesn't quite work, does it? Nor does that. New would work. Dew would work. Oh, there we go. Sin, sad, ice, new, dew, and ace. And we have the letter S flashing. The wand. The narrow path led him to a grassy plain, and there he saw an immense wooden staff mounted upon a stone pedestal engraved with the letter S in red. "Aha!" the fool shouted. "The royal wand has been returned." "You are mistaken, little one," the statue replied solemnly. "Here I have stood for many generations. I am the symbol of his lordship, the king." "Oh my," the fool stammered, following the path once again. "This must mean that the royal wand is even larger yet. He could not imagine such a thing." Okay, but there's no puzzle here, so we're going to have to go looking further afield. Let's see. We have the Wheel of Fortune, which was, I think, was the card game. Yeah. Let's come back to that just now. Let's look at the canopy. Oh, this was the red urn one. And okay, just this is a word search. Let's come back to that. That's not terribly interesting. What does the Hanged Man have for us? Shrugging his shoulders, he crossed the bridge and discovered a man hanging upside down from a tree by 1 foot. Does that not hurt? The fool wondered. I am a hanged man, said the hanging man. That is most obvious, the fool retorted. What is obvious to some is not obvious to all, said the upside-down man. Consider that the top in red is at the bottom of the upper half. But the fool's weary of such confusing talk and did not wish to consider this at all. But it might be useful to us at some stage. What's your puzzle, hanged man? It's another of these. Let's come back to that. That is one nice thing about this game. You don't have to do the puzzles in any given order, so if you don't feel like doing this twice over, you can go and talk to the Hierophant instead. Keeping to the path, the fool located a hidden fortress, perched precariously atop a lonely crag. It was here that he encountered the mighty Hierophant. I know of your quest, spoke the priest suspiciously. 4 others have come here before you, highlighted. But I seek no harm to anyone, the fool assured him. Ah, but harm has already been done. The 4 kingdoms are on the verge of another war. The countryside is ravaged by famine, and even as I speak, the spectre of death roams the land. Literally, by the way. He could not imagine how he had been the cause of such things. Nonetheless, the priest continued, I am compelled to help you in this matter. Little good it may do you. Take this and be gone. And with a flash of lightning, the fool appeared back on the mountain trail. Etched into the rock at his feet were the numbers 15 and 24 and 2 in red. What is the Hierophant's puzzle? Jumbled. Okay, it's just one of these. Okay. Again, I'm going to come back to that. I want to check out some of the other things. By the way, as he said, the spectre of death is wandering around and we will meet him. But let's visit the star. Travelling further, he spotted a lone star in the midst of the morning sky. How curious, he commented. A pentacle in this faraway place. You are in need of wisdom, my friend, the heavenly body replied. I am a star, nothing more. But to err, in red letters, is human, so call me what you will. Then I beg your pardon, the fool said with a low bow. I stand corrected. And what is the star's puzzle? Oh, okay, this is interesting. See, here we have to... Oh, I don't think that we need the instructions. Here we have to actually rearrange this stuff to form a sentence, I think. So it looks like we have mine. I'm guessing that that's going to be a break. So do we have something that would work? Doesn't look like it. I can't move that one. Yeah, maybe it's not my then. Oh, mist. We're playing Mist, that's what it is. Probably not. I think I see what it is though. Mystical. Chant. Mystical chant. A stream. Keeping to the path, he approached a narrow stream that ran across the road, and just as he was about to jump over it, 8 magical wands appeared on the horizon and soared over his head. Hugzu, creaked the enchanted wood. Ah, a mystical chant, highlighted, the fool remarked. I wonder what it could mean. But he did not wonder for very long and hopped across the stream. Okay. You know what? I'm going to go back to the Wheel of Fortune now. I'm going to try to beat that card game. I do hope we get to the programming puzzle, the one that will incur the programming. But I honestly don't remember which stories I think include it. So it might end up being next week, but still. Let's play this game. Let's see. We're supposed to reach 700 points, and it looks like it's kept our old position, which is quite neat. Right, we have the Emperor, the Moon. He has the Star. I'm going to take the World so that he doesn't get an astral pair, and we do. And our astral pair beat his council pair. Nice. Okay, he has the Magician. We have the Hierophant and the Star. Then on the table are Strength, the Tower, and the Emperor. I have a suspicion that the Emperor might work with the Magician, but I'm not sure. And of course, we don't know what his other card is. I don't see anything that obviously works with the Star or the Hierophant. other than maybe the Emperor. I think the Hierophant might be a council card along with the Emperor, so maybe. Let's try it. Ah, the old man yielded. That cost him some points, I believe. So we have the Fool and the Chariot, which are both mortal, if I recall correctly. He has strength. On the table are the Devil, Justice, and the Tower. Well, I'm thinking maybe let's just deny him Justice, which presumably goes with strength. Let's see what we get. Ah, we won 18 points. Our low pair, the Fool and the Chariot. Okay, low pair, not mortal pair. Beats the Magician. Okay. The Fool and the Emperor versus Strength. Over the Chariot, the Hanged Man, and the Tower. I'm going to go for the Hanged Man, I think. Ah, mortal pair. His mortal pair beats my lucky pair. That is the difficult thing here, remembering what beats what. Okay, so we have the Devil in the World against the Magician. Now, I'm inclined to take the Moon to go as an astral pair with the World. That's mortal. I would imagine the Hermit goes on with the Magician in some way. This is dark. I don't think any of these are dark, though. So I'm going to go with the Moon. Ah, and we won. Astral pair beats Magician, and he didn't actually get anything out of it. Okay, Justice and the Hermit versus the High Priestess. With the Magician, the Star, and the Tower available to us. I'm going to go for the Magician. Ah, his low pair beat my Magician. The Magician doesn't go with the Hermit at all. Okay. Okay. Strengthen the Tower versus the Lovers. This is tricky because the Lovers are lucky, if I recall correctly, and mortal. The Fortune Wheel is lucky, and I think the Hanged Man and the Hermit might both be mortal. So, tricky. I'm going to take the Fortune Wheel, see where we get. Yeah. Yeah, his lucky pair beats Strength. Okay, Hanged Man and Strength versus the Star. I suppose Justice? No. But we still won. Mortal pair beat his lucky pair. It's interesting that Justice and Strength don't seem to go together, unless they're not as good as the mortal pair. Anyway, Death and the Chariot... Sorry, Death versus the Chariot and the Moon. I don't want him to get the High Priestess because that'll be a dark pair with Death, I think. The Chariot looks dark there. Maybe I'll get a dark pair out of it. I'm not sure. This would, I think, be a mortal pair, which might beat a dark pair, but I don't know. I'm not going to chance it. Ah, he's High P. Okay, so Chariot isn't dark, presumably. High pair beats High Priestess. He had the Fool. Okay, High Priestess and the Magician versus the Chariot. Hanged Man, Hermit, and Justice. Hermit, maybe? No, mortal pair. Right. Devil and Magician against Tower. World, Justice, and the Lovers. Oh, he's about to win this round. We might end up coming back to this again, but coming back to it clean at least. He was in a lead the last time where we left off. But anyway, not giving up. I'm going to try Justice. No, did not. Oh, and we lost. Back to 0. All right, we will come back to the Wheel of Fortune then. Let's try the Emperor. Squinting into the darkness, the Fool did just that, and by daybreak he had come to the home of the Emperor and Empress. 14 treasures, the Emperor boomed in a raspy voice. I care not for the other 13, but someone has stolen our one treasure, and they left me with this ridiculous whiff-dove in red letters. An absurd trade at best. The Fool looked at the pathetic creature and had to agree. It was a small bird with 3 wings, 2 heads, and 1 leg. Perhaps it is magical, the Fool remarked. Magical? Ha! It is totally unnecessary. And look what has happened to my beloved wife. Presumably, well, let's read on. Let's see what happened, since we have access to the Empress. The Empress was seated on a long satin couch, her tired eyes barely open. On the wall she cast 2 distinct shadows, her normal one and a jagged silhouette that stood next to her like a second person. In its black hand was a crystal sphere with 5 mouths that wailed incessantly. Oh, the Fool mumbled, not really knowing what to say. Yes, the Empress sighed. My husband may not be able to rid himself of that wretched little bird, but I am cursed with this vile shadow, in red letters, and his unrelenting 5 circle in red letters. I've been unable to sleep ever since it arrived. The fool expressed his most solemn sympathies and departed from the unhappy couple. Alright, let's try their puzzles. The Emperor... I wonder what kind of bird that was, puzzled the fool. Okay, so we have a bird search, so to speak. Woodpecker. Oh, whippoorwill. What else? Hawk. No ladies? Oh, I thought I saw owl for a moment there. Oh, meadowlark. Oh, nightingale. Much like the floor. Oh, nuthatch. Crane. Some assembly required. Ah, heron. Heron marked blade. I feel like there's something in there that I'm not seeing. Oh, there's dove at any rate. Is Durban a thing? Oops. No. Okay. Oh, buzzard. Let's try moving down. Oh, thrush. I suspect not a nice thing to catch. Goose, which is something that you might be set to catch if it's wild. Eagle. This looks like it's something. Chefotch, is that a thing? No. Oh, vulture. I don't know what this is. Bobolink? No, it doesn't sound like a bird. Zax. Oh, wren. There we. Oops, no, not that way. This way. Wren. Crow. Neat birds, those. Oh, parakeet. I thought that looked familiar. Oh, cardinal. Appropriate since we just visited the Hierophant. Finch. Reminds me of Edith. Ah. Duck. Well, Edith Finch was an odd duck. Sparrow. Whoops. Come on. Let's try that again. Sparrow. 5 to go. Robin. Like the hood. That almost makes Gzin of the Magzin Wars. Ah, swallow. Canary. Watch out when they're black. On the other hand, a blue jay is perfectly safe. I don't suppose Bappy's a thing? No, didn't think so somehow. Okay, so where does it look like we're missing something? Maybe in here somewhere? Or here somewhere? Be my guess. But could be here. No, I didn't think so. No. Always tricky when you're missing just the one last entry. I wonder whether these are at all procedurally generated, these puzzles, procedurally arranged in some way, or whether they're set every time. I've played this game before, but I don't remember the puzzles that precisely. I do keep coming back to this section. Bobolin? Oberlin, doesn't sound right. Or at least it's no bird that I'm aware of, at least. It almost looked like owl. My apologies to anyone watching this in the future who is screaming at the screen as to where it is. I'm afraid I don't think that I can hear you. Oh well. If playing Legend of Zelda would be fine. Can't tell, but you can't see this, but I'm peering intently at these letters. Zoc. No. Somehow I didn't think so. Almost could almost use a hint. I'm tempted to go back to the story and pick another puzzle, but I'm just missing one. No, that was another long shot. No, it's not Bob. I think I tried that previously. Oh wait, Bobo? No. Bobo? No. Pretty sure I've tried all of these, but it's just. Oh, what is a Bobolink? Hold on, I'm going to look this up. What is a Bobolink? The Bobolink, Dolichonyx orzivorus, is a small New World blackbird and the only member of the genus Dolichonyx. Dolichonyx orzivorus, I think is probably a slightly better pronunciation. Old name for the species is the rice bird from its tendency to feed on cultivated grains. Ah, alright. Looks like it's a North and South American thing. Anyway, let's click mouse to continue. The farmer. The fool scurried northward and came to a small farmhouse. In a nearby field the farmer was at his wit's end. "We have been cursed," he moaned. "Of what good is wealth without food to eat?" It was then the fool noticed that, instead of fruits and vegetables, 7 shiny coins had grown from each of the hardy stalks. "Our enemies intend to starve us to death with their magic," the farmer lamented. "If only I had some fertile seeds to plant." The fool expressed his sympathy, but could offer little else to help the man's plight. It's another of these. This is, immovable. Let's give it a shot. We have done one fairly recently. But this is an interesting one. We haven't had many of these. So I am game. Actually, I'm in, but, don't know quite where I'm going with this. But that's not terribly unusual for me. I don't see that working, however. So maybe not the R there. What else do we have on that level? Could have E, but something starting with a double E seems unlikely. Could definitely include a double E. E. I don't think so. What else could go in there? That's no good. From. Okay, so I don't think it's going to be that. And it could be the start of a word there. It's possible. Can't deny that possibility. I don't like that. Let's see. The only thing that really looks to me to work, although, that's a possibility. If we have something like request, perhaps. T there, yes, this is looking good. Is that perhaps R? No, that's not going to work. But what will work then? Ear. I'm guessing something more like. It could be ear actually, as in before. Let's go with that. What would work in there? Not that. That would though. Then that at the. I'm guessing that's something's request. The Queen, perhaps. Let's see if we do that. And no. That and that. Then that. Here. Okay. I am here at the Queen's request. The Knight of Pentacles. Taking a shortcut across the field, he encountered a regal knight in a dazzling suit of gold armor, riding atop a stately mount. "I'm here at the Queen's request." Wait, who's speaking here? Okay, sorry, the knight speaking. "I am here at the Queen's request," he proclaimed, "and I have the seeds that you desire, but they've gotten jumbled in my pouch. Will this matter?" The fool peered into the nice satin pouch and saw Tewa, Urki, and Nkro in red. Well, I don't know about that, the fool reflected, but I do know that the farmer you seek is not me. He awaits you at the other end of this field. "You are indeed a man of honor," declared the knight. "In this time of famine there are those that would deceive me and steal this most rare commodity for themselves." We'll just go to talk to Justice. Gasping for air, he looked up and seated on a crumbling marble throne was a somber woman with a crown of iron. In one hand she held a fiery sword, and in the other a set of scales. "I beg your forgiveness," the fool stuttered. I did not mean to trespass. Please do not take any offense." You have nothing to fear, she answered solemnly. I am justice, and my wrath is only for those who have wronged the land. The fool considered this for a moment. Then have you judged the thief who stole the treasure from the Emperor and Empress? He asked, remembering their sorry plight. They have lost nothing, Justice told him. To lift the curse, the Emperor must simply take what is his from what is hers. Until that time, however, their treasure will remain hidden from their eyes. So, sounds like a clue to me. Oh, and this? A secret hides here if 25 appear. Oh no, it's this puzzle. Ah, kittens, I don't like this puzzle. But I do know it. Basically, we have to light up every... Yeah, let's start that over. We have to light up each of these... well, basically put one of these ovoids in every square. Whenever we click on one, it activates the ones around. It toggles itself and the ones around it, except for those apparently, which act differently, which is interesting. Okay. Whoa. Huh. And that always resets. Okay. So there's some... Oh, kittens. Let me start that again. So there's an extra layer to this. Oh, joy. My apologies if I'm a little grumpy. I don't like this puzzle. I truly do not. I've never liked it very much. I messed that up. You know, I'm coming back to this one. Let's go to the chariot. Scurrying along a narrow mountain path, the fool was startled by the sudden approach of a swift chariot. "Look out!" yelled the driver, steering it sharply. The chariot spun about and flipped on its side. With a loud crunch, one of the wooden wheels broke into 2 pieces. The fool offered to assist the man, but he was shoved aside. "Out of my way!" shouted the driver, leaping onto one of the horses. "I have uncovered the mystic Ha in red letters, and with it I must locate a thief who steals 7 highlighted." And with that he thundered away in a cloud of dust. I'm hoping that was a 4-wheeled chariot and not a 2-wheeled chariot, because otherwise he's in a bit of trouble. It's another of these. Okay. We're all getting towards the end of the stream, so I'm going to close up soon. We'll keep going for a little bit though. Very soon the fool found himself lost in a confusing tangle of crooked paths. After wandering aimlessly for hours and hours, he got so exasperated that he just sat down in the dirt and refused to move any further. "The one who built this road is a greater fool than I," he huffed. "This is hardly the shortest distance between 2 points." "Really?" croaked a scruffy hermit, popping out from behind a bush. "And what is the shortest distance between 2 points?" "Why, a straight line, of course," he snapped, "which this path does not in the least bit resemble." "Ah, but a straight line can be the most difficult puzzle of them all," the hermit insisted, "especially if you do not know where to begin. If nothing else, you must remember to locate a J and proceed from there," he highlighted. Oh yeah, I remember this one. I don't like this one. This is not a nice one to end on. Let's go to judgment instead. Venturing ahead, the fool approached an angel who sat atop an enormous hourglass. "One who blindly follows a path without question," she spoke, "is as lost as the one who follows no path at all." I beg to differ," he replied politely, "but as you can see, I am no longer lost." "Yes, but have you yet uncovered one of the land's lost treasures?" The fool shook his head sullenly. "Then heed the advice of the hermit," highlighted, "and gaze into the sands of time," she commanded. Reluctantly, he looked into the hourglass and watched the twinkling grains of sand. The longer he stared, the brighter they seemed to become. Then his eyes began to itch, his knees weakened, his stomach went queasy. Then a faint voice spoke. 4 to the north, 7 to the west, 3 to the north, 8 to the west, 6 to the south, 5 to the east, 9 to the north. All highlighted, and I think that's a clue for a puzzle, so I'm going to see if I can screenshot that quickly. Pull that up so that I can see whether it works. I think it was a Control F5. Yes, there we go. Good. So I wanted that that clue. Oh, it's one of these. Okay, no, not a nice one to end on. I'm just looking for something interesting to end on. The tower. He woke up alone on the edge of a barren field. The fool leapt to his feet and could find no sign of the angel nor the hourglass. On the horizon stood a dark, abandoned tower. As he walked nearer, he observed that the parapet was engraved with the letters QM in red. Then, without warning, a twisted bolt of lightning burst from the clear sky and shattered the tower utterly. That's another of these. Come on, there must be something interesting around here. The magician. Beyond himself with fright, the fool dashed down the road and fell at the entrance of a dark cavern. Not knowing what to do, he scurried inside for safety and trembled in the shadows. In the dimly lit chamber stood an old man in a tattered grey robe, chanting an incantation over 4 objects on a wooden table. A sword, a pentacle, a wand, and a cup. The 4 suits, by the way. "At last, you have come," cried the magician. "I had begun to fear that my spell was insufficient to lead you here. Now, have you the sun's map?" The fool was not the least bit aware of having been led to this place, but kept silent. He removed the parchment from his knapsack, and the magician studied it carefully. "It is no wonder that you have been unable to locate any of the 14 treasures," he realized. "This map has been corrupted by a powerful enchantment." "It has?" the fool worried, backing away. "It is not meant to harm, only to confuse," the magician assured him. "The High Priestess may have learned how to command the sacred Book of Thoth, but even she cannot force it to do anything inherently evil. Still, her mischief is not without consequence. The 14 treasures must be recovered without delay. You must visit every corner of the land and talk to its people. As you do, each missing piece of the sun's map will reappear, yet not always in its correct position. To fully restore the map, you must use the knowledge of your journey to rearrange the many pieces into the proper order," all highlighted. The fool had hoped to do far less work. "But where will I find the 14 treasures?" he asked. The magician turned away solemnly. "Each of the 4 kingdoms contains one of the lost treasures, and all require the use of secret words. But in every case, the townsfolk have either told you of these words or told you where they can be found," highlighted. The fool was quite bewildered. "I'm afraid that I can offer you little else," the magician sighed. "Now it falls to you and you alone to undo the treachery of the High Priestess. And once you have returned the 14 treasures to their rightful owners, peace will be restored to the land." The fool shuffled his foot along the dirt floor. "But I'd hoped," he began meekly. "Well, actually, I'd hoped to claim the 14 treasures for myself." "And what would you do with such things?" said the magician with a smile. "The land is in great need, my friend, and only you will have seen all of its secrets. And if you are able to accomplish this great task, I know that you will find what you are truly seeking in the end." The fool could not imagine how he would accomplish this without any further help. Sadly, he rolled up the parchment and walked into the sunlight, feeling very sorry for himself. He looked back at the magician's cave for some encouragement, but saw that it resembled the shape of a skull. "It is lucky that I did not notice this before," he blurted out. "Otherwise I might never have met the magician at all." It's another of these. Interesting. Okay. Let's try the lovers. If this doesn't work out for us, we'll pick one more puzzle and close on that, I think. As he turned away, however, the fool discovered that there was one last road ahead of him. So without another thought, he hurried along the path and very shortly came to its end. There he found a man and a woman seated on a marble bench, their hands embraced in love. "Ah! Oh, look! A wise man approaches," they both exclaimed. "At last, here is hope for the land." The fool twirled around, but saw no one standing next to him. "Do you doubt their words?" the bright yellow sun asked. Pacing back and forth, the fool took a moment to reflect upon the events of his errand, and then snapped his fingers with a smile. "Why, not at all," he suddenly realized, "for I am the one who will save the land," highlighted. Okay. The fool paused to reflect upon the incidents of his journey. Okay, so it's another word search, and it's based on these things, I'm guessing. Alright, in which case, let's just find something to try out. By the way, we'll pop into the sun's map at the end and have a look at that. What was the canopy again? It's another word search. The chapel is this mystery. The hanged man is a scramble. The Hierophant. Oh, this will do. This will do. Okay. Okay, I see it. I believe. 14 and 3 by the looks of it. Let's see. Vet, the bane of all cats. No, so I doubt it. This could be towel. No, it couldn't. Is there any clues to what sort of words these are? No. Oh, I see it. Do you believe? Yes. 11. No, I thought it was 11. But I think I'm on the right track. I think these are numbers. In which case that will be 2, which puts a W there, which makes this... Ah, there we go. 12. Okay, so it's numbers. 1 and looks like 19. And you. And this looks like 5. Number of nights at Freddy's. And looks like 17 to me. Oops. 17. These short ones should be the easiest, I think. So it looks like 6. And looks like 13. 6 and 13 are highlighted. Reached the cloud. Walking across a grassy knoll, he discovered a young man sitting under a spreading oak tree. Before him were 3 fine goblets, and emerging from a small cloud, a pale hand offered him a 4th. Why do you refuse such gifts? The fool had to ask. Why should I be satisfied with less than I am seeking? The boy grumbled. But you do not look like one who is seeking anything. No, you are wrong. I seek the sacred 6 and 13 in red letters, but this cloud offers me trifles instead. So here I will sit until it gives me what I desire. Let's have a look at what its puzzle is. Oh, it's a scramble. Okay. I am very curious that we haven't actually seen the puzzle that incurs the programming yet. It's in here somewhere. Of that I'm highly confident. We just haven't seen it yet. Anyway, the magician told us that the sun's map updates as we travel. And indeed, you see these markers? These are all places that we've been. But not in the order in which we've been to them. See, we can't open these. We can shunt them around, though, that we reveal. So these are all the ones that we've been to thus far. And this is the final puzzle, so to speak. The big overall, or the start, rather, of the boss puzzle, one could almost say, for this game, which is one of my favorite parts of it. Anyway, let us save our game. That's saved? I'm going to presume that that's saved. Yeah, good. Alright, and with that I'm going to close up for the evening. Thank you very much for joining me. Stay well, and goodbye.